All right, so today we're going to explore data for applied AI and how to make it work effectively. And the best part is you don't need these endless metadata platform projects to be completed before you can get good results. So let's dive in. We often hear that data is the new oil. Spoiler alert, oil is oil, data is not. Even if the metaphor was suitable, data is almost infinite now and oil unfortunately is not. So to extract value from your data, you need to get much smarter about it. And popular to what everyone might tell you, AI doesn't magically unearth valuable insights from a sea of data junk. Instead, the way to think about it is AI is a tool that applies a formula or organizational mathematical concepts to sift through your data to uncover those hidden challenges. But you still need some insight, some understanding of that data to be powerful. Even unsupervised models require some level of guidance to find insights or a human over the loop to reinforce discoveries. So data can be tricky. The more data is generally better, but it's easy to assume that not all data will provide the answers to the questions you seek. So take a closer look at your data and try and understand how it's set up. And there are really two things we look at in the data, what we call explicit trends and implicit trends. Explicit trends are those that contain metrics directly aligned to what you're looking for. And implicit trends are those that may be influenced by things around your data. So an example of an implicit trend is if someone makes an audible call to alter a supply chain to avoid a storm. You might not have the data of that storm, but you'll see the shifts of the data. Remember, data is essentially numerical representation of actions whether something did or did not occur. And so to understand the insights, you have to also understand what is the data actually representing and how do you make insights from that understanding of what's happening around the data. So what does this mean in practice? So first start by asking the right question. Once again, it starts with the business. A good starting point is an earnings report or a strategy document. Identify the key metrics and understand how they're calculated, and then identify the systems involved. You'll likely find there's a vast amount of data, but not all of which relates directly to a specific metric, which might still be relevant. And so understand what drives those metrics. Even better, seek external correlations for your metrics, such as Forex rates, market trends, commodity prices. This adds an extra dimension to your data and allows your models to have a wider aperture for analysis. And it means you can also start to look at indicative features that might not always be in your control. At this stage, we transition to really AI data management and what I call the creation of data products. So what are data products? The market has different definitions of these, but I'll give you my one. Think of a data product as a created table that has the vital data for specific aspects of your business, like customer or sales orders. But importantly, it includes metadata, such as where the data was collected, its importance, whether it's been validated, and use these as the building blocks for your AI models. Poor data management can lead to terrible outcomes, misalignment, and inefficiencies. And the way to think of a data product is much like you'll never see a racing car, like a Formula One workshop with oil on the ground. If you have a messy data practice or you're not thinking about data products, that's kind of the environment you're operating in. So what you do is you define these key data products and then use those as a way of pulling consistently to work from and continue to involve them. Next, think about labeling and training data. This is often overlooked, I think. So you want to maintain data sets of labeled data. What is something that's faulty? What is something that's not? And build that. And constantly be looking at how you're labeling those data sets. And there's lots of techniques on how you can do that. Trust me, this step can really help you get to results faster, but also you take your data products and then you also have labeling sets across that, and that allows you to have huge performance improvements. Finally, today's data is really multimodal. So we used to work on rows and columns. Now we're looking at images, natural language, audio. And, a number of the significant advantages we're seeing now are actually coming from treating all these modalities as part of a common pipeline to support that model. So for example, looking at PDF documents and understanding how those topics can be related. Key here is, again, you got to build the data products around them, understand that the time these things were created, understand the labels, were they accurate, what was the performance, how does that relate, and think about that data universe as being this series of well understood elements that are well labeled. So just to recap, you want to go through and understand the key priorities of the business and what metrics are important. You want to understand your internal and external data that can influence that. You want to build a series of data products, which effectively are your standardized, well-managed, well-enforced, well-controlled data sets. You want to build labeled data sets that help you quickly define if something is good or bad. And then you want to have repeatable policies so that people use them. In fact, in some ways, asking the organization to use those data products as a source is a good way of learning what else you might have to go do to provide more models. And this also allows you to build repeatable data infrastructure. So I know this was a bit more technical than usual, but this is such a topic that there's a lot of things that you can kind of miss out on. But with this comprehensive data strategy, it doesn't require to manage everything to solve every problem to achieve impactful results. So don't worry about going for the crazy solve everything data platform. Definitely worth doing. Not saying it's a bad thing, but by breaking everything down into these very specific data products with labels, understanding multimodality, will really take your applied AI strategy forward. So that's it. Thank you. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.